All right. Let's get these levels right. Check, check. All right. Looks like we're all set. Let's get this link in here for you guys. Okay, cool. All right. So, starting things off, we'll take a look at Bitcoin here. Um this has been I this has been kind of an annoying spot for me. And I'll explain why. And this is part of why it works so well. I'm not the only one that's feeling this way about it, right? So we're going to talk about the range deviations. If we go ahead and zoom out, we'll go to an hourly time frame. We sort of drew out this channel, and this channel has been working for us for quite a while, basically. Short at the top, take profit at the midline. Long the bottom, take profit at the midline. And we can see we haven't been back to the top of the channel since putting in this high here. But we have had, 1, 2, 3, 4, opportunities to long. And if you front ran a little bit here, there have been even more opportunities, right? For long and to take profit at the midline. Not a full rotation, but at the very least to the midline. So it's been a great range to trade so far. And, we had this deviation here where we had an hourly close below, and then we closed back inside on the next hourly candle, and then had sort of that uptrend. This one was the swing just below, right? Just a wick, no big deal. Here was the second actual deviation. So on this deviation, I took a short last night, and I basically said to everybody, when I saw this close and then this hourly close below, I'm like, okay, well, that seemed like a back test to me. I'm going to open up a small position because I don't like opening up positions before I go to sleep. It's just not something that you want to have on your mind. And price then again reclaimed the channel, somewhat to my surprise. Okay. And I was thinking to myself, all right, if we do reclaim the channel, then let's just, keep an eye on the 382. Well, we broke slightly above the 382, and what was actually holding as, let's take a look here, actually, if we do like this. Yeah, so from the top to the bottom, that would then be, that is about the 382 where it was rejecting from. But I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, we had that deviation. Okay, then we came down again and we had this drop down. And on this drop, I was thinking, oh, okay, this is for sure it. And the reason why, we had this deviation, you can see this move up here. This deviation, we didn't even make it to the midline, right? We're stopped at the 382 of the range. And then to get another hourly close below here, I'm thinking, okay, this is it. We're for sure going to then have continuation to the downside. But now, again, we've closed above the range low. This would be considered a reclaim. And, I don't know. I guess when I see this, my point is that I wouldn't long here. So whoever's longing here, I'm not sure what it is that they're going for per se. Maybe, like what are they actually looking to trade this back up? Are we going to take out all of these highs? So that's certainly a possibility, right? Let's look at that. So we have all of these highs here, right, that haven't been taken out. So would we then expect a sweep of the highs and then to get our move down? But off of 3 deviations that are getting weaker bounces. I don't know. For me, it's all too suspect. Like I wouldn't long this. I don't want to long the bottom of this channel anymore. I do think that this is getting weaker. I think that the buying is getting weaker, and the fact that we've had 1, 2, and now 3 again back to back here deviations where price couldn't break up above the 382, like I'm not convinced. So I'm still in my short. I have my stop loss, above the mid range, slightly above this trend line here. And that's where I'm gonna hold it, and I'm gonna stick with my take profits, slightly below this low here, and then I'm gonna front run at 21,800. Then sort of my final target would be down here, right? Just like what we talked about on Monday, where ultimately I'm looking for this zone here. If that's lost, then we look slightly lower to here as some of my areas of major confluence, right? Where maybe we wick touchdown to the midline, this area holds, and then we reclaim, and then we can trade it back up here, right? Would kind of be my plan. So there's a couple other things I want to look at here. So with this here, what was interesting is it kind of reminded me of this channel where we kept doing these deviations and reclaim. But as you can see, that bounce got, weaker and weaker and weaker until eventually falling through. And in my opinion, that's kind of what we're seeing here, where that bounce is getting weaker and weaker and eventually will fall through. That for me is what I'm looking for on this trade here. But then there is something else to keep in mind too, and that is if we adjust this channel and look at something like that, you can kind of see, it shows a little bit of a different picture, right? And in the case of Ethereum, it had, again, a very similar channel where instead I got rid of this and I redrew it as a downwards channel. And you can see that we literally just fell straight through, right? We fell straight through. We took out a lot of these lows here, bounced off of, this is actually the value area low of this overall range here. If we were to draw a larger range, which we could totally do. This is the value area low, also an untapped daily that I would now consider tapped, is basically what we bounced off of to the dollar. So I guess my point in showing you these comparisons is that's sort of what I'm looking for on our Bitcoin chart here. I am looking for, price to really lose this, maybe, and lose this channel preferably, and fall through and sort of range and reclaim before then coming up. For me, this would be ideal. If you guys don't already, you are gonna for sure want this channel drawn on your chart, because I assure you it will come in handy later on. For when price does bounce here in this zone, if we get that bounce here, maybe even a little bit higher up, whatever it might be, this zone here is going to be resistance, and it will be a definite take profit, right? And honestly, depending on the timing, it could possibly even coincide with this trend line. So we do come down like this, wreck early longers, reclaim, hold, back test to 618, and then have continuation to the upside. Well, here would be either where we come back down or we reclaim breakthrough and we go up, right? So this trend line and this channel, if you don't already have them on your charts, I think it's really important to have. And in addition, I think it's worth keeping an eye on this one as well to see how well it is respected or continues to be respected as we move forward. I would be curious, on Ethereum, like I said, it really just fell right through, and to be honest with you, that's what I would like to see here on this channel. I do not I do I 100% what I do not want to see is for price to kind of do something like this and make its way down here. This to me wouldn't be as appetizing of a long. Like I wouldn't be as interested in longing this here in this zone. If we slowly sort of just fell through like that, I'm not quite as interested. I would prefer, uh, kind of something like this we get here, and then we do a liquidation candle, whatever, come back down, take them out. Something quick with big wicks, a very swift reversal. I don't want to see a slow decline back down to this zone. I would be less inclined to want to long it versus, doing some degree of like a liquidity grab and a move down. So yeah, as far as BTC goes, we're still in the same plan. Just curious what this one is here. Yeah, this is our uptrend, so we can see that we're bouncing off of that right now. Right. Again, like losing this would be great. Come down, maybe back test, whatever, and then, have our move down. Curious, let's see if we... Yeah, we're kind of right at the intersection of that channel here. Yeah. Well, anyway, yeah, like I said, I'm not particularly interested in longing here. Could it go higher? Sure, absolutely. In that case, I'll just short higher. No big deal. But I'm not interested in longing this. I don't like the fact that we've had 1, 2, 3 deviations. The bounces are getting weaker. We haven't made it back to the top of the trend. We are still following this trend line down. I'm simply not interested in it. I am in a short right now, like I said at the beginning. And I think right now it's probably underwater. I took that short last night, so I did take profit on this dump down here, thankfully. So at the very least, I've made some money, and if I get stopped out, I'll be at about break even on it. So no big deal. So that's kind of my plan for BTC. It's all the same as what it was for Monday. We are looking for a move down here into this zone. If we were to go higher, these were kind of the 3 plans. If we were to go higher, we could trade a deviation of the range high. Okay, cool. We'll trade it back down to the midline in the bottom of the range. The next area of resistance is at about 24K up to about 24,200 with an untapped weekly as well as a naked point of control from from several weeks ago, months ago actually. There is a naked point of control up here for a weekly naked point of control. So these would generally be my trading plan. This is the one that I took last night based on this deviation. What I had said is that I doubt that we would have a second deviation. Like when you have one, I doubt we'd get a second one and then, go up and take out the highs. Well, since then we've had a third and, price is still going up. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. I personally, whatever happens with this move up, I think is more of a bull trap than it is, actual continuation to the upside. So we'll just have to wait and see how that plays out. Do you want to just look at a couple different things? Yeah, I got that. Kind of a potential weekly level. I'm not in an FTM trade right now. No. I'm not in any FTM trade. We can quickly review that too. I have to update this chart. So in the Discord on I don't know what day. It might have been, actually it was yesterday morning. I woke up and posted this chart when price was right here. I shorted this. I took the majority of my profit here and a little bit more here. I missed the rest of this move down, which it sucks, but I mean, at the very least, my trade worked out. When we hit this low here and we swept these lows, as you can see, it's a swing failure pattern just below. I considered this wedge trade 100% over. And now for me, my next FTM trade would be somewhere in this red circle zone. Like it would be epic if price were to come up here. If price could somehow find the strength to work its way up here and swing failure this high at the actual range high, I would for sure short that. And I think that would be like a pretty sizable short in my opinion. But you can see, like, in the macro view of things, right, we are at range highs, right? That's right. That's basically where we are on the chart. So yeah, for me, that would be a great short. I think that, looking at FTM here, those bearish divergences on a daily time frame, on a 12-hour time frame, a 6-hour time frame, a 4-hour time frame, it's just that it's clearly getting to a point where it's overextended. So yeah, if we were to get a pump up even higher than this again, or back up to this zone, I would definitely look to short it again, 100%. But as far as this trade goes, this is over. That trade's been finished. We can put this one behind us and now move on to the next one. But yeah, for me, this is definitely where I would be most interested in. Yeah, and there's an untapped weekly level there. Let's put that on there. Yeah, untapped weekly level. Yeah, I think, between that weekly level, range high, all that, I would definitely love to short that if we were to get up there. Definitely on my radar. I'm trying to think of how I want to do this today. So I did a total update on BTC on Monday. Why don't today let's do a total update on Ethereum. And then on Friday we'll do, a different alt. Like Matic or FTM or something like that. And I'll try to keep all of these in rotation. Maybe that's how I'll do it. Throughout the week, we'll kind of just slowly update these charts and keep an eye on them as we go. So yeah, let's do that. Let's start with Ethereum. I'm gonna go ahead and clean all this up here, and we'll just start from the beginning. I gotta find some new copyright free YouTube music. It seems like the only I like research, copy free music on here, and the only thing that they ever have is like lo-fi, which is fine. I'll listen to it, but they're it's the same songs in every, free lo-fi replay or whatever. It's all the same music. So I'm gonna try to find something different. Want work to and throw some on, and we'll do a sort of a start to finish analysis on ETH today and really update this chart. Yeah, BTC, man, this is really disappointing. I'm honestly, pretty surprised by this. That people are still willing to long on this range low here. Obviously assuming, looking for higher prices. Let's throw this on here. Alright, let's see if this is the same playlist. No, this will do. Alright, cool. Well, if you guys have questions, I'll do my best to answer them as we go. Otherwise, I'll just circle back around at the end of the stream. I am going to turn off my mic and go ahead and dive into the charts on Ethereum. All right. Um, so there's a couple interesting things going on with Ethereum here. I'm just going to temporarily hide this channel. So a while back, I noticed this bat harmonic. This harmonic is like, it's perfect. It's a really good harmonic, right? So when we put in this low and we failed to take it out here, I thought to myself, gosh, this thing might actually play out. And so far it has. So it targets two primary spots, the 618 here at about 1780, and then the 1-to-1 extension, which is 2200, give or take. The what's so important about this is that the 618 here, its first target, is also an untapped weekly, the 55-week EMA, and I wrote here the harmonic, so I'm referring to the 618 here for the trend fib extension on this harmonic that gives us our targets. So when I saw that, I had to adjust. At first, I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is viable. That's entirely possible. I prefer 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just because I think that this is hitting that first target on that harmonic as well as these other areas of confluence, I think would be huge. Is it possible that this is wave 5 instead of 3? Absolutely. Totally. It could totally be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 100%. I would prefer, however, that this is 4 coming up and that this would be 5. And I'd really like for 4 to be now, and here's where we can zoom in and kind of talk about what I've taken a look at here. The VWAP from our low at about $900 is here now. We also have an H12 order block here. Let me double check that. I think it's H12. Yep, an H12 order block. And it's also the 0.5 fib on the fib retracement. So typically, like, rule of thumb with Elliott wave is that you have your 1, 2, 3, your 4 does not overlap with 1. Okay, it can happen in some cases. In my opinion, this case is not one of them. So the next area below, of course, the 0.5 would be the 618. And if we were to go tap the 618, that would mean that we would overlap with 1. So I'm ruling out the 618 as a possibility for a retracement. If we were to retrace, I would look at the 382, but especially given the degree of confluence that we have here, especially the 0.5 at about 1415 here with this H12 OB, and then also our VWAP from the 900 low at about 1405. So for me, this would be like a really great area. If we were to do, whatever, maybe range a little bit, come down, kind of go like this, and then come like this, and then have our move up. That might be asking for a lot to get that significant of a move down. I'm sorry, I wouldn't be like that. Let me get rid of these. So like do like an A, B, C, and then go on for our wave 5. It might be asking too much to extend this leg down a little bit more, but this would be ideal. This for me would be my first pick if we were to continue down, right? If not, if the wave 4 was put in here and then we have continuation, then so be it. But for me, this is what I would be looking at. If we did come down here, I would definitely be looking for a long position, right? I would consider it at the 382 here on a deviation. I would consider this. I would prefer if we came down here. It seems quite a bit of way off now, so I'm hesitant in pushing for that, but in my opinion, this would be great. A very swift, strong pullback tap the level, reclaim levels, and then have continuation to the upside for then a wave 5. If this is not a wave 5, then to do something like this. But it is possible that we did a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now we're seeing an ABC correction, right? That's entirely possible. Like I said, I would prefer, if you look at it on a daily time frame, I would prefer 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 up to this zone here. So both things are worth keeping in mind. Going down again to lower time frames, or one more thing I want to point out too. This trend line is pretty key. I would keep an eye on this trend line if you don't already have it marked on your charts. There is going to come a time in the future, let's say we do this exact deal. We go 4, 5, and then we do an A, B, C, and then we hit this trend line. Well, that's going to be good to have that on our charts because that might end up being a good time to long, right? Or if we do overextend and come down and tap it, or whatever at some point, that is worth keeping in mind. Let's zoom in a little bit more. So we do have this untapped daily level. I would consider it tapped. We front ran it a little bit, but maybe on some other exchanges it was actually tapped. Something I'm keeping an eye on are a couple different channels. So this range here, I've had a couple good trades on this so far. So if you are into range trading, having this range here might be kind of nice. I did long here. I took profit at the midline, shorted here, took profit at the midline, closed here, and I did not open up a long here because I was getting ready for the live stream, but basically, kind of just expecting to rotate this. It's a little bit different with bottoms than it is in tops. I prefer ranges at the top like that versus just straight sideways at the bottom, because with the bottom forming, you're not going to want to keep taking out lows in the same kind of a way. So I don't trade ranges exactly the same. I'm a little bit more eager to take profits, let's say. But so far this range has worked out really nicely. I did redraw it. I had it down a little bit further and I didn't exactly like that range, but it is possible that it comes back, so I'll keep us updated on that one. So this is worth having on your charts as well. This local downtrend, I think, is probably the most key aspect of our lower time frame chart here, right? And that's simply because either A, it continues to act as resistance and we do get a push down, or it's reclaimed and we look for another full rotation of this range. I'm right now, I'll keep you guys updated in the Discord. I'll actively update you on my trades with ETH. But for right now, I'm not particularly interested in doing anything outside of maybe just trading this range here. Like I would maybe just trade this at the most, but really I'm not interested in doing anything. I still have part of my long open from here, and I'm going to keep that long open. I have my stop loss here. I'm just going to let that run. So if we do reclaim, then I'll just look to take profit in this range here. Otherwise, I'm just going to remain patient and look for, like I said, kind of that move down to one of these general zones here for a long position. I'm more interested in doing that. And then especially like in a very big way, I am looking to heavily short this zone. There's a lot of high time frame confluence in this zone. I'm definitely going to look to short that. So if we do get a move up here, do not get bullish. Do not look for longs. We are going to short this. So we will keep that in mind. So yeah, my higher time frame levels here and especially here. And then in the meantime, I'll look to kind of trade that range. I'll watch out for a reclaim of this. Otherwise, we can look to reject and maybe go down to this, a little bit lower here and kind of look to trade from there. So this level here you're going to want on your chart, this monthly level you're going to want on your chart, because the moment that price breaks above here, it's going to go straight here. If it continues to reject from here, then, well, you know, then we won't get this wave 5 up here. This has been a really big rejection level this monthly. Have this zone marked out on your chart, about 1400, 1420 to, you know, 1400 zone. And then, of course, this channel here to look to trade in the time being. So that's what I have for my analysis on ETH and kind of what I'm looking for right now. I'm not, where we are right now, I'm not overly eager to, like I said, position myself. I am long from here at about 1527, like I said, with my stop loss here. So I'm not, other than that, I'm not overly eager to position myself. And I'll do a very brief explanation as to why. Let's look at the time here. Tuesday, 1530. We had a %7 move down on Ethereum. At that same time, you know, we had a 3% move on BTC. This one came a little bit later. It was actually these two candles here. It's like 1.5% was the ones that dropped ETH, you know, about 6%. It was two 30-minute candles that did that, and then it ranged sideways, while then BTC sort of started falling and catching up with it. So what I'll do my best to explain this. How this kind of works for me when I think of alts right now is, so typically alts bottom after Bitcoin. So here's kind of why. Let's go to this chart. So let's say, and I'm not saying that this is actually going to happen, but let's say that Bitcoin goes to, you know, 32. Let's just say 32. So we had this massive move down, right? BTC retraces to about this zone, right? And then it moves back down here. Let's do this. Let's make this a little bit more interesting. Let's say here. So BTC, let's say, you know, gets that move, kind of does something like this, staggers a little bit, and then comes all the way back down here right before the halvening, and then gets a move up like this. So here's what's interesting. Bitcoin bottomed here, theoretically, right? Let's just say. When price pumps like this, alts will also pump, but they're going to be outperformed by Bitcoin, which means that the BTC pair on each alt has went down, right? So if BTC is outperforming most alts, right, that would be the case. So what happens then is when BTC finally revisits this level, let's say this exact zone that we're in right now, let's say it's the exact price. When price revisits exactly the same price we are today, let's say 22,500, after going up here, Ethereum is not going to be 15K. It would be, let's say, you know, I don't know, 1,000 or 900, right? So if you can, so if you follow what I'm saying, you know, this is sort of Bitcoin's time to shine and have some degree of a run. So I'm not like overly eager or too, I'm not feeling like FOMO for missing out on any kind of a pump on any sort of asset or missing out on trades, because I know that there's still a lot of time left in this cycle. And, you know, that this is ultimately just a bear market rally. So if you can kind of follow on that, this here was what we just started to see. So if we look at the ETH BTC pair, you know, here we can see that it just had a massive move to the downside, right? And it has been trending downwards, you know, for the last week here. right? So that's you know, it's just worth keeping in mind um, that we're starting to see sort of the effects of that with, you know, the BTC alt pairings. So just a brief recap here. Bitcoin, we have our two high time frame zones here and up here for a short, here for a long. I am personally generally looking to lose this range and you know, start to fall towards this level. I'm not very keen on this area as being. I'm not looking at this and thinking it's bullish personally. So we'll just have to, you know, wait and see how it plays out. My two high time frame levels look to long here, look to short up here. I am already in a short here with my stop loss above this trend line and the midline here that I'm looking to ride this down here. As for Ethereum, like I said, I am long from here. I have my stop loss here. I am going to hold that. And what's interesting is that what I think is that when BTC does get its move down to, you know, that 21.8K zone or whatever it is, 21.6 or, you know, wherever that we're looking for, I think it's possible that this will hold. I'm not entirely confident on it because, again, I would like to see ETH come down here for a long and then especially up here for a short. So we'll just sort of have to wait and see. But in the meantime, I'm going to hold my long here with a tight stop loss just below here. And I've already taken quite a bit of profits on it. So if we do get that move down and I do get stopped out, no worries. I'll actually make more money off of the Bitcoin short than I will have lost on this one, significantly more. So yeah, this is generally my trading plan on what I'm looking for right now. If you guys have questions about that, feel free to ask me in the Discord. I will do a short recap video later today, sort of reviewing my analysis here. And I'll be on the lookout for more active trades. You know, I for the last since Thanksgiving to just after the new year, I was primarily doing swing trades. So I was basically looking to trade these pivot points, which meant that, you know, I was taking maybe one trade a week. Well, now I'm sort of back and being more active, and we're taking, you know, 3 to 10 trades a week, something like that. So if I do see some trades on a lower time frame, whether it's from a channel or maybe some wedge, like we had that FTM short from yesterday that was just like an incredible move, you know, a 12% move. I'll keep you guys in the loop. I'll keep an eye out for those trades, and I'll be sure to update you guys as we go. But for right now, I'm going to give you guys this analysis here so you can have an idea of some key levels and sort of what to look out for on both ETH and BTC. And I would say, you know, this Friday we'll either cover LTC, Matic, or FTM, and I'll try to keep, you know, these 1, 2, 3, 4 alts, including Ethereum, in rotation in the coming weeks here for our live streams and keeping you guys updated on it. So why don't we end it there? We're at about an hour and 15 minutes. Like I said, if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask in the Discord. Otherwise, keep an eye out for a recap video. I might do a little bit updating on that one too if something interesting happens between now and then. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys, and thanks for tuning in.